A lot of people take this mountain for granted, but while we look away, the mountain is melting.
Here at Mount Rainier, glacier area has declined by about 40% since the early 1900s.
And with every passing year, the loss accelerates.
So it's been very well established that as a result of climate change, glaciers on Mount Rainier are receding, and they're receding fairly rapidly and are likely to continue doing that throughout the rest of the century.
But to get more information, we need to take a trip into the belly of the beast.
What I'm expecting to see with increased climate change and with the predictions that the climate models are indicating, I'm expecting that a lot of the lower glaciers, the glaciers that start at like 10,000 feet and lower, those ones will get a lot smaller and may even disappear. So like the South Tahoma Glacier starts around 10,000 feet, ends at 7,000 feet, and it's retreating pretty dramatically. And all of these glaciers that are retreating in these areas, it's very, very steep and it's very crumbly, loose rock. So we're having more material provided to these systems. We're basically priming the system with sediment. And we get more surges like this, where we get more intense precipitation in the wintertime, then we could see more debris flow activities. Given what the forecasts are indicating over time, over the next century, it would not surprise me to see an increase in debris flow activity. And that's kind of what I'm anticipating on seeing.
So it's been very well established that as a result of climate change, glaciers on Mount Rainier are receding, and they're receding fairly rapidly and are likely to continue doing that throughout the rest of the century. And that's really important for a number of reasons, but particularly because it could affect the river systems that flow down from the glaciers. And so it's possible that certain reaches of the river might get warmer in the future, cold water zones could shift, or their availability throughout the year could change. And that would have implications for bull trout, particularly as bull trout are heading upstream, trying to find that cold water to spawn. In addition to bull trout, we also have species of macroinvertebrates that are only found in Washington. There are other species of fish that are using these systems. And so, although we are honing in on bull trout, we're really looking at the entire ecosystem that so many different species rely upon. And they're very specialized. So they're unique in that they can survive in such cold temperatures, but also for that same reason, somewhat fragile, and that these ecosystems that they need are really threatened by climate change.
But to learn more, we needed to seek out a different perspective, one that stands in contrast of everything we've already seen.
What comes to mind when you hear the term climate change?
BS.
Climate change. I believe that climate change is something that's happens all the time. I don't think there's anything that we're doing to make it different, and I don't think there's anything that we can do to make it better.
Climate change? Is it supposed, I mean, the name's in the, that's what comes to mind, climate change.
It's just, it happens, just because this world is millions of years old, so it just happens. And then we go, you know, to where there's nobody, and then we grow, and then we go back to nobody. So, you know, I don't believe that we're causing climate change. I'll put it that way.
Have you noticed any changes in weather patterns or seasons over the past few years where you live?
Yes.
Yes.
Not really.
How significant?
The wind's getting stronger. It's warmer in the summers, colder longer in the winters.
You know, but I mean, it you know, I just don't believe that it's the climate is changing as far as, you know, we're doing something to, you know, hurt the climate or something. I don't think there's anything we can do to help, you know? So I don't believe that the electric cars and stuff like that are helping at all.
No.
Do you think human activities can affect the environment in a significant way?
In a significant way, can affect it? Yes, absolutely. Significantly, all of humanity, yes.
Mount Rainier is more than just a mountain, it's a warning. The glaciers are melting, and whether people are willing to accept it or not, the signs are clear. So we choose to act, because protecting this place starts with what we do now.
The other tasks that we need to do, those old compost piles that we didn't put the new stuff on top of. And it's really important for community all around Lake Geneva area and Federal Way, Auburn, to have access to our different waterways, and also to keep this space healthy as a forest so that we continue to have access for people for not only our physical recreation but also our mental and emotional needs that we have as humans. So thank you for continuing to make it a diverse forest for us to enjoy for decades to come. It's really critical that we are keeping our beautiful forests as much as we can and preserving them, making sure that they're healthy. I think about all the root systems for all of our big trees and our big shrubs. It's that not just diversity of the forest, but thinking about all the different root systems working together to properly bring those greenhouse gases back into the soil. So as we know, we learned today, if we have a monoculture of species like that Himalayan blackberry, it's those root systems were not really doing a great job of filtering out our air, sequestering those greenhouse gases. So really making sure that we have our big trees all the way down to our small shrubs. All of our salmon species, a lot of the waterways that come in through Puget Sound come in through King County, and we really need to make sure that even small lakes like this one that is connected to the Green Duwamish River, we are making sure is healthy so that it goes out into our other ecosystems downstream. And it's all connected through, I just feel like, our salmon going up to the mountains, up to Mount Rainier, right? We are keeping all those water systems healthy all the way up to the mountains. And I think specifically the glaciers, I would say really that climate change aspect, right? Making sure that we are not only planting diverse species, but also we're thinking about where are we sourcing our seeds from. So a lot of our King County and other nurseries, we're thinking about different species of planting to mitigate for climate change and getting seeds from Oregon, even Northern California, is a big thing. So thinking about not only the types of species that we're planting, but where are we sourcing those seeds from? And we're trying to adapt the climate and mitigate for what's to come.
What happens if we don't act? Let the glaciers melt, the forests burn, and the silence grow. How long until the signs we've ignored become disasters we cannot escape? The question isn't whether the Earth will change, it's whether we'll change in time, before the next warning becomes the last.